All right, there we go. All right, Robert, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the safe harbor statement, and then we'll do our introductions here, okay?
Sure.
All right. Okay, our discussion may include predictions, estimates, or other information that might be considered forward-looking. While these forward-looking statements represent the company's current judgment on what the future holds, they are subject to risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results to differ materially. You are cautioned not to place undue reliance on these forward-looking statements, which reflect opinions only as of the date of this presentation. Please keep in mind that the company is not obligating themselves to revise or publicly release the results of any revision to these forward-looking statements in light of the new information or future events. Throughout today's discussion, we will attempt to present some important factors relating to the company's business that may affect any predictions. All right, with that said, I can understand I have the voice of Robert Rico on the line. Is that correct, Robert?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, Ryan, I'm here.
All right, fantastic. And I understand we have some people joining us today, Tanya and also Hugo. Is that correct?
Yes, they are.
All right. Well, if they want to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about themselves, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. Let's start with Tanya Breedemeyer, our newly appointed CEO.
Hi, I'm Tanya Breedemeyer.
Hi, Tanya. Nice to meet you.
You too.
All right. Do you want to tell us a little about your background and what we can expect from you in the future?
Yeah. So basically, back in my background is specializes in retail wholesale, and started in the company in 2015, Grand Havana, and basically went into the food service business and opened up a lot of the food service with the biggest distributor was Fiscal. Created a coffee program with them, and went around Florida between the West Central and South Florida in order to basically present our brand, Grand Havana. And basically right now, as we stand, we do basically distribute it over our coffee and pallets into those locations throughout Florida. And then basically opening up the cafe in Key West, Florida, and just basically getting the word out about our brand, our coffee, everything that has to do into supermarkets, into restaurants. We have over about 100 restaurants right now that service our coffee. We have our espresso machines, all our assets throughout Florida, and basically just building the brand in the e-commerce, Amazon, and the cafes and the wholesale division.
Nice. And just to confirm, one of the last PRs that came out, you were the COO and now are the CEO of the company, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
Fantastic. And then Hugo, if you can also do the same and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good afternoon, Brian. How are you? Pleasure to be here. My name is Hugo Gutierrez. I'm very innovator, and result-oriented leader. With past experience of more 20 years in the food industry, different levels of leadership positions with brands, national, international, global brands, and different positions, global markets, high levels of expertise, and new acquisitions and development new markets.
Fantastic. Well, it's nice to have you on board. I'm sure you can provide a lot of good details going forward. So, all right, let's get into questions.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Okay. So first question was about the Q4. There's no 10K that's up on OTC markets. When can we expect to see the new 10K?
Okay, so right now we have the year-end financial statements are in the hands of our service providers, and we're finishing up our consolidated financial statements. The disclosure statements are being prepared by our SEC lawyer, Jonathan Linwan, and we will be completed on or before the deadline.
Okay, fantastic. All right, what is the highest margin business? Is it your wholesale or retail?
Well, this is a great question. This is how it depends how we present the brands and we penalize the brand and the market. However, retail is a high margin for sure, based to extractions, the way that we present and we develop the business into these points. But we still have a very strong presence in the wholesale business with new accounts and future new accounts.
Right. That obviously makes sense. There's less hands in the cookie jar if you're selling it yourself versus having to go through third parties, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. The business focus moving forward, are we looking more retail or wholesale, or how do you see it?
That's a great question. Based to the new strategy, the new realignment for the company and the whole restructure, which we're working as a team, we look into we look on both sides. We looking in the retail, but also we want to make sure we have a strong presence in the wholesale business, which is support part of the business and long term with new products.
Right. Okay. A question about the Key West location. First off, it's currently it's still the only freestanding Grand Havana Cafe. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Is it profitable?
Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay. Yes. The cafe right now, as we know, we acquired Panini Shamini, which was converted into the Key West, to the Grand Havana Key West. That started in May.
Right.
You know, as we moved forward in that, and I think in one of the questions, Mrs. Tanya Breedemeyer is going to go over the ratio of revenues, what is incorporated in what, and it will kind of lead back to this question. Right now, the cafe is going through a transition period, mainly headed by Hugo, where we're bringing down the cost basis as we increase the revenues. We saw something, very interesting that happened in December, where that cafe broke about 40,000 in sales for the month. So we see a location that is in a good spot with Duval Street. We all know we've all had our fun times in Key West, and we all learned to love Duval, and we understand how popular it can be now more than ever. As we know, after the acquisition, we bought it through the tail end of the COVID period. That's what, and it was enticing because that's the reason we got a good deal, because of the COVID. But now is that it's opening up, we're seeing the more influx of business. So to answer your question, it's in the break-even point that's about to turn over.
Good. All right. And then along those lines, I've interviewed you, Robert. I've been on previous interviews that I've listened to you speak. There were questions previously about different locations, one being Hoboken. I believe there's also been a mention of recently in Miami. There was talk of Nashville at one point. Can you give us an update? Oh, and also the Puerto Rico information.
Okay, yeah, because remember, these are different questions. You want me to answer all in one, or just wait as the, like, for instance, question number 12 is pretty much we have a strategy on the San Juan location. Okay. But
let's start with New Jersey. Is there a status update on that?
No, here's what. Since Hugo has joined the team, gentlemen, Hugo came to us as an industry veteran, and he looked at what we were doing, and as part of the think tank that we had in the process, he wanted to scrap and say, let's recoup and make sense of certain strategies. Hugo actually wants to answer that, so he's telling me to let him answer that. But I'm going to finish off with this. The man is an industry veteran and has a plan. So thereby, he's going to tell you what he's going to say.
Okay.
Right. Thank you for the questions. If I can piggyback on what Robert said already, as we take over the company, which is, I believe, 3 weeks ago, we start rebranding the brand, and obvious. We start analyze the business difference and see the different vehicle that can help with the brand and support the shareholders to grow the business to the next level. With that said, yes, we are focused 100% on the core value first and who we are. We want to stabilize the market. We want to make sure we define what company we are, where we want to go, instead of start analyze growing in different direction, different city, or even different countries. Right now, we're focused in Miami. We are personally working with different developments in the market, different companies in the market, in order to bring the company inside the menus and support the brand growing locally first before we analyze the opportunities which we already have or entertainment different another opportunity. Hopefully they answer your question.
Okay, no, and it makes a lot more sense to concentrate your focus and abilities in that same area where you're already operating instead of growing outside those. So that makes sense. I just want to confirm though. So the brakes have been put on the other locations at this point, except for Miami.
Absolutely
correct.
Okay, all right. Very good. So let's see here. Sorry, let me catch up on my questions here. Per the last 10Q, there was a 9-month total revenue of approximately $419,000. How much of that was Key West, and how much is other retail, and how much of that is wholesale?
Okay, so retail, 162,000 on the retail side, and the wholesale is 260. And just keep in mind that the Grand Havana Cafe was purchased in May 2021.
Right. Okay. So it's only been operating less than a year.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then this is going back to, I believe, last October, November. There was a speak of a share reduction, and that the board had agreed with the share reduction. Where are we at with that?
Here's where it presently stands. As we attempt to do the reduction, we have to still complete a series of negotiations which are on the table with certain note holders on the reserve side to be able to achieve that. And that I can say that's going in the positive direction, and it's going to be completed. Just right now, it's all I can say on this call, but it's being done.
Okay.
It's being worked on.
Okay, so there's active progress working towards that. Is that correct?
And we all understand the value-added proposition that it brings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then the status of debt selling and clearing notes. Obviously, we've seen the share of the authorized shares go up. I'm sorry, the not the authorized, the outstanding shares. Yeah, go up. So are we still in a point of selling, and where are we at with that selling? Is it going to continue?
Well, I mean, the company's fully committed and not taking any further new debt.
Okay.
So moving forward, we're not going to be utilizing those instruments any longer. And when you see the upcoming disclosure statements, you will see that the debt has been, brought down. So here's a company that's not taking any more debt and just working on paying off its debt through a series of buying back debt, and the ones that we can, and we're working seriously and diligently towards that. It's reflecting on our disclosures.
Okay, well that's good to hear, and we're definitely looking forward to that quarter 4 10K.
Right.
Okay, so we've covered San Juan basically, I believe.
Yeah.
We all in agreement with that.
Yeah.
Okay, are the fiscal year 2022 projected revenues still at approximately $5 million?
Yeah, part of the here's what we have done. Part of the, I want to say, restructuring and correct, just getting everything right. We hired an industry specialist, Mr. Silverman, CFA, to recreate the forecast and projections under Hugo's model. That document will be available within 30 days. Once we have those new performers come out, we will put them out to the marketplace.
Okay. As far as franchise locations, there was a lot of talk in the past about franchising, and I understand the need to get more cafes up and running to, really get down the brand and how it looks and how it feels, and when you walk into a location, that's what you're going to expect when you go to a Grand Havana Cafe. Where are we at with franchising, though? Is that still on the table?
Well, this is for sure. This is an opportunity we have. Day to day, we have some, we have some entry in that model. However, the priority is not going that direction for now. We are focusing on stabilize the brand and be profitable, support the shareholders before we take that direction, which is already in the table.
Okay. And obviously, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you want to make sure that product is viable, and that potential franchisees can know that there's a viable profitability for them as well.
Absolutely.
That would make a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. As far as Reef, it's been talked about in the past. Is there any agreement with Reef?
Well, I can't. The only thing I can share with you, I have a very close relationship with leadership from Reef, very high level. However, this is not the priority right now. The priority is stabilize the market, stabilize the brand, be in the community, bring some awareness of the brand, and of course, with that say, grow sales, the profitability, and support the holders. After that, this is going to be the conversation talking points with the right leadership at that point, and we want to make this the most intelligent decision at that point.
Understand. Is there still a plan to expand through small cafes and airports, rest stops, bodegas, that kind of thing? Is there still a plan to do that and to really push that your coffee through the equipment that we've talked about in the past? That's basically owned by Grand Havana and done that way.
Yeah, basically, I can share with you, and this is my one of the biggest bullet points I have with me right now. I am in the middle of negotiations and discussions and conversation with different very strong brands in the community in order to bring Grand Havana to the locations and service at the community. Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. And then, how much increase in online sales are you guys projecting for this upcoming year?
Well, again, we're working in the budget. We diligent. We working very close with the new CFO and the new business plan, which we expect to be finished in the next couple of weeks. And I prefer step that for now and be realistic based to forecastings.
Gotcha. And then, will any products be added to the online catalog?
I love the questions. And I always said this when people ask me, do you plan to add new products to whatever products you have already? Well, the first thing, I want to make sure I am the best products in the market, best to my products day to day, which is the target. Right. We want to be the best in what we do. We want to make sure out of the coffee, which is great and great products and great presentation, we want to make sure my team and the operation side make it the best coffee with the best marketing strategy, with the best operation executions in order to be successful and growing the business and make sure the shareholder, which is my first priority at the end of the business, have it the please and can support our continued success.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we all look forward to that updated business plan, and I think it sounds like the company's in good hands. As far as Hugo, I know that I don't know the current status of you and Half Moon Empanadas, but are you still in relationship with them as well?
I grow. Just put it this way: I grow in this business. I grow in these markets, and every single leadership positions I have in the past, for the past almost 15, 20 years, I'm being the East Coast. So to go back to your question, yes, I have a very good relationship with high-level leadership and different branding, including Half Moon Empanadas. And I'm looking forward to collaborating and co-branding with different brandings in order to support the brand to the next levels.
Nice. And it's my understanding that Half Moon Empanada locations offer Grand Havana Coffee, and the cafe offers some of the Half Moon Empanada offerings as well. Is that correct?
The first statement is correct. Not the second step.
Okay, understood. All right. And then that makes sense. Fellas, Tanya, would you like to add anything else before we conclude?
No, I think we would like to say thank you, and that we are committed to furthering the communications. You will see the company become further and further more active via press, via Twitter, via the communication portals that we hold within. So once again, the team is excited, and we are prepared to start with the investor relations portion of it further and increasing that.
Good. Well, as investors, we all like that, and I think I like the fact you guys sound focused on a direction, and you're focused on a market which is in the Florida area, and let's do it. Let's get it going. So
awesome.
Thank you,
guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye bye.